Am I allowed to cut my sibling off because my sibling is not reasonable? So, Silat al-Rahim, the Islamic ethic of family, is a very important ethic. Like, family ties are not a negotiable conversation within the realm of Islamic ethics and how we behave. Okay? That's the general rule. What that means is that every family situation is going to have disagreements. Every family situation is going to have drama. Okay? Every family situation is going to have discord. But there are two types of disagreements: drama and discord. There are those which are functional and those which are dysfunctional. Functional disagreements are disagreements where it is possible for these two people to be able to work it out, agree to disagree, and keep moving, or simply table the conversation and just move on, and both rise above the inability to come to an agreement about that thing. The dysfunctional side would be people that use this as an opportunity to destroy the relationship, and they make it destructive, and in the destruction of this or in the pathway of this disagreement, they use it as a means and as a mechanism of hurting one another and oppressing one another. So the reason why I wanted to frame it this way is because I don't want everyone walking out of here being like, I knew my family was toxic. Because most scenarios, most people in their families, they're not dealing with toxic family members, they're dealing with normal family members. But the Quran does share more than a few stories of genuinely toxic families. Sayyidina Yusuf with his brothers, Sayyidina Ibrahim with his father, Sayyidina Lut with his wife, Sayyidina Nuh with his son. You have the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ with his uncle. What does that mean? Well, the Quran does not deny that it's possible that there could be relationships that are family that are actually destructive. The Quran actually doesn't only not deny it, it actually puts it out on the table and says, yeah, it's possible. So now the Quran tells us, okay, how do you deal with these? If you look at all of how they dealt with it, all the prophets, the general rule is you deal with these people reasonably. Meaning, you wish them well, you keep them off of your tongue and out of your heart and mind, and you let them exist without affecting you as much as possible. Which means that you are allowed to have boundaries and barriers. You are allowed to protect and put up in order to protect the one that you are responsible for. If I see one of my kids beating up the other kid, I can't be like, well, we're family and Islam says. No, I have to pull them apart and I have to reprimand and give consequences. Then when I look at other family scenarios, when I look at in-laws or siblings or cousins or uncles, whatever, the reality is that if there's a transgressor, if there's an oppressor, and if it's clear, then I have to address it. My advice is to try to have it be as much as possible done in an arbitration that is not he said versus she said, me versus you. My advice would try to be as best as possible to institute some type of third party that can be objective and can give you some kind of objective read on this. But to answer your question, generally speaking, you are allowed to create boundaries. We don't believe in cutting off in Islam. We don't believe in that. Like, cutting off means what? It means even if the person is repentant and even if they want a second chance, we say, no, you've been cut off. So we don't do that. But we are allowed to build walls because walls can be destroyed. So you're allowed to build a wall and say, look, here's a wall, there's a door, it's locked. The minute you change, we'll unlock it. Okay, but if you continue to do this, we gotta keep this boundary between us in order to protect the well-being of myself, my family, etc.